Hey, 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 it is Rashida coming to you at a special time. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm here because I couldn't go live this morning. So today's an Ask Me Anything, which, if you haven't figured that out yet, I haven't done one in a while because I've been mostly on top of my stuff, but an Ask Me Anything is usually I really don't have anything to talk about, so we're going to have to make this a group project kind of day. And since I woke up I got home from the airport at 6 a.m., I was not going to be ready to go on at 9 a.m. my time, which is when I usually have to do this. So I delayed it till now to say hi to you guys, but I'm still a little exhausted from a red eye, which I hate taking red eyes. This was my only choice. If not take red eyes if I can help it. So I'm here. Hey, y'all. Hey, everyone who's here. Drop a comment in the chat so I know you're here. Yeah, we're doing things. We're doing things. So today's all about you. Hey, JG. Today's all about you guys. What do you want to know? If you're watching this on the replay, I hope you get a lot of wisdom from the questions being asked by the audience and any kind of answer I can provide today. I hope. I spent most of my day sleeping after a stupid red eye. I don't sleep on planes unless I'm in a lay flat. And I took my very first non-business class flight of the year yesterday. Mistakes were made. First of all, truly mistakes were made because of the way I pack. Every other trip I've had the same luggage, about the same amount of weight the entire time I've been gone. Every other place I've been to, I've taken a business class flight. So I'm allowed 2 70-pound bags generally. For some reason, I thought my credit card, because I have a Delta credit card, was going to get me that. And the lady was like, you can get that on domestic flights, but you usually don't get it on international flights, which I don't know because I haven't taken it was Comfort Plus. Well, it was AM Plus. It was Air Mexico's bought through Delta. Anyhow, 2 bags, 70 pounds, $245. I might as well have just upgraded to the business class flight. I might have well just have upgraded and called it a day. I really wanted to burn this candle, which is one I got last year in the Berkshires. Butterscotch and bourbon, but I just put lotion on my account. Now I can't open the jar. So what else is back here? Ooh, roasted vanilla, another one I really like. This is a candle company from Mexico. It is called something 228. Central 220. Central 220. This is their roasted vanilla. I love the way it smells. It perks me up a bit, so we're gonna hope we get some perk. All right, you guys, it's a group project day. So write your questions in the chat so your questions can become, we're talking about. You want to know something? You want help with something? Ask me anything. Yeah, I'm either like a scent-wise, I'm either like a woodsy leather. I love the way leather smells. Leathery kind of person. Oh, this one's not working. Or I'm like a sweets like roasted vanilla. I don't know what works and what does not work in my house anymore because I've been gone for 6 weeks and just got back this morning and I've done nothing. But my housekeeper has been here and she's been taking care of things. So my mama is in the chat being weird. So I don't know what to say. Hi to everyone here. Hi, hi, hi. Hey, Carmen, Butterfly Effect, Rhonda, Angela Rochelle, Comfort, T. Hayward, Janefa. You guys are all part of our membership. We're not doing a membership meetup today because I got 2 hours of sleep on a plane last night. The guy next to me, this is rambly. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I ramble sometimes. The guy next to me decided they turned off all the lights in the plane because we boarded. Our flight was supposed to take off at 10. We took off at maybe like 10:30, whatever. They turn off all the lights in the plane. The guy next to me turns on his reading light, turns it on, leaves it on, goes to sleep. He's not reading. He's sleeping with his reading light on, which I already told you I can't sleep with. I can't sleep like that. So I don't know. I don't know. You guys have started giving questions, so let me get to work. Let me answer some questions. As questions come to you in the chat, drop them in. I'll look for them. You guys are saving my life now because I really could not come up with a topic. I can come up with good advice, opinions, and all that kind of stuff, but like a coherent topic to talk about for 2 hours, I have it. I save Ask Me Any, like anytime I do an Ask Me Anything, it's because that's what's going on. I save Ask Me. I don't do them often. I save them for those days where I'm like, okay, we got to do this. We got to do this. We can do this. We can do this. All right. First up, questions. Oh, Eve wants to know if I can come to Frolic in Paris or I burned out from travel. Eve is in Paris right now. She was volunteering for the Olympics, so I'm sure she had a blast. I am not leaving this continent until after Exodus Summit is over. I'll be, well, maybe Central America. Maybe. I'm staying in the zone I'm in until the summit's over because I'm not burned out. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I spent my last week with small people who don't sleep as much as I do. I miss my bed. I miss my bed, honestly. I got into this morning at 6:30. It felt so good. It felt so good to be in my bed. So no, I am not coming to Paris to frolic. Maybe next year. Eve and I have seen each other in person one time, I think, and that was Mexico City. We've got to do it again somewhere else around the world because we have fun together. Hey, Latrentis. All right, let's see. A little burnt. No, burned out isn't really the right word. I've done 3 trips this year, if you guys don't know. 2 that were about 6 weeks and 1 that was about 8 weeks, all in the first half of the year, like all ending now, so August to now, whatever. It's a lot of time to be away, a lot of time to be living out of a suitcase. Glad to be home. It's raining today in Mexico City. Not a lot. I know people are like looking forward to the rain to come so that the drought will go away. We're not using that much. It's not raining that much. Speaking of which, segue. The I couldn't see my candle. I was like, is it still burning? I didn't even see it. So nothing is happening over there. They started using my building started using recycled water in the toilet system. I think I told you guys a while ago that my toilet had a real chemical smell, and I was like, "What's?" I'd gone away and come back, and I was like, "It's not supposed. It never smelled like this before. It smelled like bleach and cleaner, and it wasn't from something my cleaning lady had done." So I was like, "I feel like they've switched something up. They're using regular water in the faucets, but recovered water in the toilet system and for watering the plants and stuff." But now that I'm back this time, every time I come back, it's something different. Now that I'm back this time, when I flush the toilet, it sounds like it's choking. And I don't know if it's because the water levels are low or what's happening, but there's a sound that lasts for at least 30 seconds, but not like but you get the swish and the as water goes, everything's fine. And then somewhere deep in the pipes, there's like a mink. I heard they're water animals. I found out when I was in Canada. Mink or what? Someone in there is choking a mink, and it's like grunting and squealing from the pipes. I didn't know. I didn't know what's happening. So the water levels. Something still ain't right. Still not right. So that's what I'm dealing with. It's not a terrible deal, um, but it's a thing. Cat says Rashida after dark. I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all the things, all the toilet things. Um, mm, let's see. Let me see what questions there your questioning come through. So go on ahead and tappity type. Okay, Chanel JM, I saw your question. Any tips for long haul flights? 15 hours. I'm gonna say something and then I'm gonna pretend I didn't say it. Okay? And I want you to hear what I say, and then I want you to pretend that I didn't say it because I'm gonna say something else. The tip for all of you for long haul flights is business class for 15 hours. Like, honestly, for me, it's life changing. Being able, all the things we're gonna talk about are things that you don't really have to deal with in business class for the most part. But now I didn't say that. We're going to come at it where you are. I'm assuming you are this is now for you if you are not in a business class seat. These are my tips for you. A lay flat. If you're not in a lay flat bed, these are my tips for you. You're going to want to figure out where you're going and what time it's going to be when you land where you're going and create a sleep schedule that aligns with that, right? So if you're going to land at 3 p.m., you don't want to sleep through the entire flight. If you're going to land at 9 a.m., you don't want to watch movies through the entire flight because you're going to be so tired. You're going to want to go to bed pretty early and you're already going to be jet lagged and it's hard on your body. So do the best thing you can do in that area for your body. I think I have a video about this. I think, but if I can find it, I'll let you know. Also, drink a lot of water. Get up to use the bathroom. On a 15-hour flight, I would say at least 3 times. Like, you might be able to hold it longer, but you wanna get up and walk around. You wanna get up and walk around, 1, 'cause your body needs to move, your bladder needs to empty, all that stuff, but also you want to get the blood moving in your legs. And when you're sitting up, this is why the lay flat seat is different because your legs are flat. You don't really have that problem. When you're sitting down and you're not moving, you're not getting out of your seat, all the blood is pooling in your feet, and you can get deep vein thrombosis. You come out of there, which is serious because you can die from that. But if you get up and move around, it's not likely to happen. Here I go saying things. Get up and move around, and you eliminate the risk, most of the risk there. Um, where I wear compression socks if I'm not going to be on a lay flat, so that the blood does not pool in my ankles. Sometimes I get off a flight and my feet in my like my ankles are just round balls, right? My feet don't want to fit in my shoes anymore. Nothing's comfortable. Just because all that blood pooled and it got, whatever, stagnant. Blood gets stagnant from not moving around. I'm not a doctor. So move around, go to the bathroom. Even if you're a window seat, make them people get up, girl. Or actually, what I do is when they get up, I get up. Every time they get up, I get. If my like the middle person's, if I'm in a 3 row and the middle person's getting up, I'm getting up when they get up. So we don't have to have this conversation later on. Whatever I have to do, I'm gonna do it now. And if they're not getting up, I'm still gonna get up. I'm still gonna be like, gotta go. Because whatever. If you are the aisle seat and you don't have to worry about that, get up and go. Walk around. If you're an aisle seat, get up and walk around the plane. Just do laps every once in a while. You're not bothering anybody. Walk up and down. You guys got any tips in the comments? Okay, Comfort says I wear compression socks. Definitely. Uh, Rebloom Room says I feel like the difference between coach and business class slash first class equals 3 weeks of meals in Thailand. Am I right? Even more. It depends on where you go in Thailand. It could be 3 months. But baby, the thing about me, and this is why I say I do it, is I'm not going to get any sleep at all sitting upright that close to a stranger. So the things that I can't sleep with, other humans. Why are you breathing right there? Why are you right there breathing? Other humans, any movement, any light, any sound. So when I go to sleep, I don't know if I've showed this in vlogs before. Maybe I'll show it in the next one. I've got noise canceling headphones on. I'm usually in a lay flat, hopefully with like a high wall beside me. So there's like it blocks that like human movement by me. Like people can walk down the aisle and it doesn't bother me. Um, and I have an eye mask on. And typically I like to wear like an N95 mask on planes, and typically I'll sleep with it on. So like my whole face is covered. Oh, and my hair is wrapped up. If I'm going to sleep sitting down or laying down on a plane, no matter what seat I'm in, I'm wrapping my hair up because I don't care what these people think. If I'm laying down, bet I'm comfortable. Okay, so compression socks. If you need an eye mask to sleep, bring an eye mask, right? If you need noise canceling headphones because you can't stand the noise of other people, you can't sleep through the noise of other people, noise canceling headphones, or the ear blocker thingies, which are not coming to mind right now. Um, let's see. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. No, like JM, if you haven't already bought your ticket, I would love it if all of you at some point in your life, and by your life, I mean before the year is over, if you have a trip, try a business class flight. It's going to be more expensive. And I will tell you, as someone who went back to coach today, it's hard to go back to coach. But at least know whether it's you like it enough to make it a priority in your life, right? Like I will travel less so that I am not on flights that are not good for me. Like I can't be seriously on me on a 16-hour flight where I can't sleep and I have to buy food. And usually what they have a lot of times what we have to sell is a sandwich. I'm a gluten-free girly. Now what are the options up front? I got 2 or 3 options. What are they? And of course, you can bring your food, right? I would also say if you have any kind of food allergies on a 15-hour flight, bring snacks that you know you can eat. Bring a meal you know you can eat in case they playing around on the plane. I was on some plane with my mom. Well, I think I was with my mom. Must have been in South Africa earlier this year. And I was starving. I forgot to eat in the terminal, and all they had were sandwiches. And I was like, I'm going to mess up my entire body. I'm either starving hungry for the next 3 hours, or I'm full of inflammation for the next few days. And I chose that inflammation, girl, because I needed that sandwich. Like, it is what it is. See, Angela is not like me. She's asleep before you pull away from the gate. If you're asleep before you pull away from the gate, you don't need half the stuff I talked about. You probably don't even need a business class seat. You good. Me? I will take sleep medications and still be like, why is a person like sitting up with a body next to me? Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Yes, ear blocker thingies. You gotta do them. Ooh, Vera's taking a business class flight to England next month. She's excited. What airline are you going on? Is it Virgin? Is it something else? Let me know. Okay, a couple people said this. Buy the ticket, and if you can upgrade at a later date before it goes up, do it. Sometimes the upgrade fees same price a couple days before the flight. Yeah, or like the day of the flight. Sometimes they'll lower the price on upgrades. I don't like that risk personally. This is all personal. Right? These are all preferences. These are not rules. Personally, I don't like it because I need to know I'm in that seat. I need to know what I can. When I bring my two 70-pound bags to the counter, ain't nobody gonna be saying nothing to me. $245 for 2 bags. I don't think it was that much for the upgrade from the plus what I was in to business class. Mm. One trick about business class, I will say, I like them even when they're not lay flat. But the first time I paid for a business class ticket and it was not a lay flat, I was going across the country, like New York to California or something, and it was not a lay flat seat. I was so mad. I was so mad. I paid all this money for this ticket and I don't get to lay all the way down. So if you're a pro and you've been doing this for a while and you don't care, but like there's things about business class you like, you don't have to do that. If the goal of you having a business class seat is laying flat, do your Googles, look at the flight number, type in, whatever it is. Spirit is what? SP 180 and the flight number, and put in lay flat seats question mark and see what happens. Spirit. The seats on Spirit and Frontier confuse me because that angle is so uncomfortable. Like, are you trying to make us uncomfortable on this flight? The seat is so thin, and the angle is so like, oh, you trying to make us uncomfortable? I don't know. Mm-mm. No. So Dara says, if you have no debt and a good credit score, I say go the credit card hacking route. Don't pay for those business class seats. Use points, just pay off those cards every month. I'm very bad about using. I have a lot of points. I'm very bad about using them. Um, but maybe I'll get better this year. We'll see. All right. Okay, so JG says she's asleep before the door closes, but she needs a leg room. Another good reason. JG, you need a leg room, huh? Hmm? Huh? You need leg room? I'm not gonna say nothing else. Oh, you're flying Delta? Okay, so Delta to London, you should be in. Are you in Delta 1? Let me know if you're in Delta 1 because it's nice. Where are you flying? Are you flying Atlanta to London? If you are, you probably are. Delta 1 is nice. All right, so it was a lot of airlines business classes aren't lay flat, especially if it's like a shorter flight. Usually New York to California or like East Coast to West Coast to East Coast will be, but sometimes they aren't. I can't remember what airline it was. It was probably Delta. I've been traveling with them for a long time. Jeff asked which airline. But you should always look. Yes. Okay, I look up the airplane. Amber says I look at the flight and airplane model to understand the setups. I do that because if I'm sitting next to the bathroom, we all got to die. I'm not sitting here. And because I don't want to get put off, especially a full flight, I check in advance. Where is the bathroom? Because I need to be at least 4 rows away from where the bathroom is. I never smell like people smells from the bathroom. That's not my concern. I smell that chemical cleanser smell from the bathroom, and it turns my stomach. No, thank you. Uh-uh. Every once in a while, I'm like, I should do a video about this, but I don't like. I'm not sure if I'm uncomfortable filming. I'm not 100% comfortable with filming things. I saw um, if I'm looking at YouTube to understand the overall experience. Every once in a while, I am like, I should create a video for you guys, just like see this experience. And then I'm like, I don't like filming when I can like get people on camera, especially children. When we were in Fiji, uh, we were at a torch lighting ceremony, and I was filming it from one angle. Stephanie was filming it from a different angle for our individual use, and because it was really nice. And then they called these kids up to the front, and so though I am like trying to raise my camera above the heads of the children so I don't catch them. As Stephanie's on the side, I look at her. I look at her face is like not that there are children, but now your child is in my video. I can't use this video with your child. So I think she moved from where she was standing, so she got a better view without the kids. But I was like, I don't want your child in my video, not because I don't like your child. Fine, harmless. But I don't want to be the one who puts your child on the internet. Although I know you probably put your child on the internet already. Yes. Okay. So this is what I was going to say. Seat Guru is what I use. I go to Seat Guru and I check out. They'll know you put in your flight number. They know which plane the airline uses and everything. That's what I do. I use Seat Guru, which is seatguru.com. Amber says the Centurion Lounge in Atlanta are good lounge experience. I love a good lounge experience. I know someone asked about how to get into them in a another question. So I guess we'll talk about it now. Um, let's talk about that. Boom, 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 boom. Whose question was that? I need access to the lounge. What's the best way without points? A credit card that gives lounge access, or what's the name of that lounge access club? It's the one that every credit card uses. Like, it's not coming to me right now. Airport lounges. Lounge Buddy is a place where you can buy passes, one-off passes. Priority Pass is the one that everybody uses. So I'm going to drop a link. This is not a affiliate link. I don't know these people like that. Holler at me, Priority Pass. But yes, Peaceful Existence already did it. Priority Pass. All y'all know in the words are teamwork. Priority Pass, a membership in Priority Pass gets you one. I would check the credit cards you already have. Because a lot of times, if you have any kind of credit card that's related to travel, either one that gives you like good travel perks, I don't know if the Chase Sapphire Preferred gives Priority Pass access. Someone here will know that. I don't know that right now. I have Priority Pass access through multiple credit cards. I only need one account. Right? They're only going to put one account in my name, right? And because I have the American Express Platinum card, I have the Platinum card, the access to the Centurion Lounge. Because now this is strange. I used to have access to the Delta lounges with the Delta Gold Amex, but I don't anymore. They took that away. I think maybe you have to spend a certain amount, but I can get in with my Platinum Amex. I'm like, so the card that y'all have in your name won't get me in here, but the card, the other people's card, I mean, same, it's an Amex, but like the Platinum Amex gets me in, but the Delta card doesn't to the Delta Lounge. So look at your benefits online of your card and see if you can get like my Platinum card gets me Clear, which I never sign up for. I never use it. It gets me Global Entry or Pre-Check. Not one, but not both. I do Global Entry because it's more expensive and it works better, right? You can do two things with it instead of one. It gets me access to lounges. I get a credit towards flights and towards hotels every year. So, there's a fee. I don't like paying that fee. I don't even like they just charge it. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's been a year. Great. But I get my money's worth out of it. So yes, Lounge Buddy, you can buy one-off passes. Priority Pass is more of a membership thing. Check your credit card to see if you get access to Priority Pass. And Chase Sapphire Reserve gives lounge access. Ah. Chase Sapphire Reserve, Capital One Venture X, and MX Platinum all offer Priority Pass. Yep. My mic is going in and out. Okay, let's see. Yes, global entry gets you TSA included, which is why I went for global entry. When they were like, we'll pay for it, I was like, I'll pay for global entry, not TSA pre-check. And they do it every year, but I only need it once a year. I don't know what's going on. All right, is anybody else here? My mic go in and out, or is it just CC? Can I identify if it's a Rashida issue or if it's a CC issue? Yeah, let me know in the comments. I heard airlines are cracking down on lounge access. Okay, it is. Hey, Stephanie, I didn't know you were here. Let me switch to a different mic. Oh, you know what? Let me try this. There's a setting that I hadn't seen before on StreamYard that says automatically adjust mic volume, and it was checked. I think it's a new thing. I hadn't paid much attention to it. I changed that. Let me know if it helps it. I'm going to move the mic closer. If it doesn't help it, I can switch to a different mic. Let's see if that's it. Okay, yeah, mic volume goes up and down. That might be the automatic thing that is new. StreamYard, these systems and programs change something new every week, and you got to catch on. How rude. All right. So yes, airlines. For some airlines like Delta, their lounges were getting kind of crowded, and you will have never heard me complain about this because I feel like I feel like I see you, Steph. Audio. All right. Let me know if this is a problem still. Okay. I hear people complaining about how the mics are too crowded because the mics, the airport lounges are too crowded because we're just letting in just any old body. And I'm like, but aren't you any old body? Right? Like, if they have access and you have access, why are you assuming that other people should have less access than you do? Right? Like, how do you know these aren't the people you're looking at that you think don't belong here aren't flying business or first class, right? Like, you're making an assumption that you belong there and they don't. I like bougie things. I don't like snobbery around bougie things, if that makes sense. So yes, the airlines were cracking down because people were complaining that there are too many people. So they took away, like I used to be able to get into the lounge with the Delta lounge with the Delta credit card. And now they're like, oh, sorry, girl. But this other credit card gets you in our lounge. They might change it again next year. I don't know. Priority Pass, Priority Pass generally works to get into lounges, especially the smaller lounges, like the ones that are not related to an airline. However, I have been turned around away from a Priority Pass lounge because they were full. Like, we're not taking any Priority Pass people right now. Because I don't pay for Priority Pass really, because it's included as like a perk of some of my credit cards, I don't really care. If I can't get into a lounge, I can't get into a lounge. I've never been in the airport for hours and not been able to get into a lounge somewhere. It's like, I can't get into this lounge. Let me try this other one over here. There's another one, right? In most airports, there are like, if you have Priority Pass, there are like 2 or 3 lounges you can go to. So I would not say stop researching. I would say that know that the requirements to get in always change. Like I used to flying in business class on Delta from the US to Mexico and the Caribbean used to not get you in the lounge at all. I talked to someone at the lounge the other day. Now flying to Mexico gets you in the lounge because you can go, if it's an international flight, you can go in the lounge if it's a business class ticket. Before, I don't even know about, I don't know about domestic flights now, but before you couldn't get into the Delta Lounge on domestic flights with a business class ticket. It had to be an international flight. And Mexico and the Caribbean didn't count as international flights. Okay. So I used to not be able to go into the lounge while flying, unless I had like another credit card on Delta. Like just the business class ticket wasn't enough. Now coming to Mexico, it is enough, but going to the Caribbean, it still isn't. It's always moving. It's always moving, right? I like lounge access. Everything's very personal. I like lounge access because I do not like waiting at my gate. I don't mind waiting at a different gate. My gate has any gate. I'm sorry. Any gate has too many people getting anxious at the same time, and I like absorb that anxiety like a sponge. And now I'm getting anxious and checking the clock and doing things, and I don't feel right internally. Put me in the lounge where everyone's like, two people are leaving to go to that flight, and they're on the other side, so I don't see them. We're all going on different flights. There's no like one moment where everybody's gonna get up and leave, or like there's no like an hour before boarding people keep like checking and stressing. I don't want that. So that's the main thing I get. And the food. It's not always great. It's always there. The drinks. I don't like last night I had a glass. Yesterday I got to my plans for Seattle changed. So yesterday I got to the lounge at 4. No. Yeah, 4. And we boarded at 9:30. Long time at the lounge. And I got there, I was supposed to get there probably at 3. But I got delayed. Anyhow, all that to say, lounges are nice. If I can get access to them, I want access to them. But if I don't have access to them, I'm gonna find a way to make it work, right? I saw your question, H&D abroad. Is PP Lounge access the same for international? Yeah, once you have Priority Pass access, I'm not sure I've ever been to an airport. Fort Lauderdale. And I think they might have a lounge now, but Fort Lauderdale, I think, is the only airport I've ever been to that did not have a lounge at all. Bless it. Good luck. Nothing. But because of the way I like to travel, I like lounges, but it's not as make or break for my experience as like a lay flat seat is. Okay, so I think we've covered this. All right, let me see if there's anything I missed in the comments. Okay, so Chanel says some travel content creators give a false impression of what lounge is with wildly empty looking shots. The lounge I went to yesterday, the Centurion Lounge, I had to, when I got inside, the lady was like, please don't sit any seats that are reserved. And I was like, I don't think maybe once I've seen reserved seats in a lounge, but reserved seats aren't normal. So let me see what's going on. So they were reserved for the people with Amex Black cards. Because when I looked I looked at the Amex app to see where the Centurion Lounge is, because I'll tell you. And it said status and it was like probable status full. So I was like, let me go see if I can get into this full lounge. And they didn't say anything about it being full of a door, but they were like, don't sit in the reserved seats. It took a while to find a seat that was not taken with a body or reserved. And the first seat I found was in the sun, which I thought was going to be nice, but it was too warm. And then I went and had to sit like in the bar area, but I had a whole table to myself. It wasn't a big deal. But all like the nice, comfortable, cushy, like booths and stuff were taken. The other things they reserved seats for are people with groups of 3 or more. So you couldn't take a table with 4 seats if you're a group of 3 or more, which makes sense. But yeah, I haven't been to an empty lounge lately. I'll say that. No. Mm-mm. Okay. Ruben says, my idea of a lounge, hang my hang up between the 2 poles and drink my smoothie in there. You can probably do that more likely in the actual airport than in a lounge. Okay, let's see. Hey, Ava. Let's go back to some questions. Lots of flight questions today. What's the longest flight that you will fly economy? I don't have an answer for. I want my flight time in economy to be 0. Like, I thought this flight home was business class. I don't know what I did. It was, I think because it was on Air Mexico, I was like, I don't know. And they label them differently. I don't know what I was doing. I didn't do the right thing. I'm flying on Thursday to New Orleans. I'm also in Delta Comfort again. Let's see if I get upgraded. So New Orleans round trip, Thursday to Sunday for a friend's bachelorette party. I'm also in Delta Comfort. So I've taken 0, maybe 1 somewhere in Africa. I take a coach, maybe. But in this part of the world, every flight has been business class until this week where I'm doing 5, because I got to connect 5 comfort flights. I'll survive. I will. So I really don't know what the answer for the longest flight. Now listen, I have flown a lot of flights in my life in comfort. I wasn't flying or like in economy, in like before there was basic, when all they did was like shove you into a seat in the back of could you pick your seat? Who knows, right? I'm not saying that this is something I could never imagine doing this, because I can, because I did a very long time. I said, I've only switched to like business only / business mostly in the last, I would say, like 2 years. The rest of my life, I was like, what that coach ticket talking about? I took some long business class flights for work. One of the companies I worked for started getting cheap after a while on business class flights. And I was in coach. No, maybe like plus. Back when, I think it was when I first started plussing, on my way to somewhere in Germany. And the guy next to me was talking to me, what are you doing? We're traveling for blah, 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 blah. I told him, and he was like, shouldn't you be up there? And I was like, baby, would you like to write a letter to the CEO? Because exactly. It was one of those funny things, because he was like, why are you, if you're traveling for business across the globe, why aren't you in business? Because no one was allowed to fly business class anymore, except the CEO and anyone he wanted. All right, anyhow, so yeah, I don't have the answer to the longest question. I have flown long flights to India in coach. I have flown to Dubai in coach. I have flown lots of long flights in coach. I survived. My back ain't what it used to be. My knees aren't. Everything's falling apart slowly, I hope. I hope to slow it down too. I just need a different thing now. But yeah, If you can sleep, I can't sleep. Strangers next to me. If you can sleep in a coach seat, I would do that. And you were really like against the idea of paying for business class. I won't even think about it. Don't stress yourself about what other people are doing. For me, I'll be on that flight awake the whole time, watching movies, doing crossword puzzles, just awake. Okay, let's see. Shoreside asks, "What do you think to travel in Asia, particularly the Philippines?" Yes, travel in Asia is kind of nice. I like it for the most part. I have not been to the Philippines, but I'd like to. When I was somewhere in his last leg of his journey, I was like, I haven't been to Asia in a while. I think it's time, probably next year, for me to spend 6 to 8 weeks, maybe more, in Asia, just going to a lot of countries I haven't been to. Philippines is one of them. I'm a fan. I had a great time in Chiang Mai. One of my favorite places to be long term was Chiang Mai. Yeah. Okay, let me get rid of that. Get rid of that. Let's see if you guys have any more questions. CC, you're preaching to the choir. Why don't airlines improve overall comfort for all in airports so you won't see overcrowded lounges? Yes. But you know why the answer is they don't care. They do not care. They do not care. So it's the same reason eggs were $45 a carton 2 years ago. They do not. They can get to the dollar. They gonna get to the dollar, right? They do not care. Your comfort. Who cares? Yeah, no. Let me see what else. Y'all talking about stuff. Uh, some U.S. airports have minute suites versus a lounge. I wish the priority pass had a lounge in all major airports. I think in Paris, I stayed in like a I feel like the word. I want to say Novotel, but I don't think that was it. I feel like the word minute was in it, and then tel somehow. I don't know. In the airport, if they don't have a lounge, and I'm there for a long time, get me one of them tiny hotel rooms. One of those like booths where all you can do is like there's like a shower here and a bed here. That's all there is. Give me one of those. Because I didn't sleep on the plane. I was not in business. I did not sleep on the plane. Please. A room with a door that locks? Sign me up. That's what I'm like. If you don't want to do business class, there are ways around it. You just have to know yourself. I know myself. I need sleep, but I can't sleep around humans. What are you gonna do? All right. I'm starring questions, so I have them. Okay, Ron is headed to Asia. Okay. Switching gears, do you find it challenging making local friends with Mexican people? Yes, but not because of them, because of me. I don't be people in like outside. I'm not outside like that, right? Mexicans, in my experience, have generally been very friendly and very welcoming and very like, if you want to exchange contact information and go grab a coffee or something later, very open to that. I forget. I'll meet someone and then not be home for 6 to 8 weeks. And then when I get back, I got stuff to do. So I'll forget that I met somebody. If they don't message me, I forget to message them. I'm very bad at my phone to begin with, even people I know. very bad. So it's as easy as you make it, right? I think it's, if you had a hard time making friends at home, I think you may still have a hard time making friends abroad. If you had an easy time making friends at home, you'll probably have an easy time making friends abroad. The extroverts are excelling. Their phones are blowing up. The introverts, I don't know about all that. This is a question from Aileen. Were you able to find plenty of foods in other countries that didn't trigger food allergies? Yes and no. It depends on the country. Like, I remember in Barcelona, Madrid. I think it was Spain, right? Like a lot of the like lunchtime foods, I think it was Spain, were sandwiches. You'd walk around and every little booth was someone selling sandwiches. Am I supposed to eat bread or cheese? So what's happening? Like when I go on tours, I try not to go on tours where they feed you because they're gonna feed me a sandwich and I'm gonna have to eat this meat, peel this meat and lettuce off the sandwich and that be what I eat. But like for dinner in Barcelona or any city in Spain, slide me some octopus, no problem, right? So it just depends on what the meal, like if I want a quick on the go meal, I typically find that challenging because a lot of it is sandwiches. But like in Japan, you can grab them little rice balls with the meat inside, with the whatever inside, you're good to go. No issues. So it depends on the country, how the people there generally eat, and like what, because a lot of times in traveling, you're kind of running from one thing to the next. So if I have time to sit down and eat, I don't have a problem. But if I'm like, I have 20 minutes to eat before I need to be somewhere else, or 15 minutes, I have a problem a lot of the time, but it depends on the country. I had a thought about that. Now I'm a cheat because I'm not gonna go hungry. You would rather me be at home than have me show up hungry. So if it comes down to it, I won't do this hungry. I won't. So typically when I first get to a place, I'm buying a lot of like going to the grocery store, buying like fruits and vegetables and cold cuts. And then like, so I always have those in the fridge. If I'm like an Airbnb, a fridge at home. If I'm in a hotel, I will definitely check out their room service menu and figure out like, what can I eat and whatever things I should not eat that I might order anyway. So yeah, so it's not easy, but it's doable. Sister Deity wants to know, do you know what countries don't require COVID vaccination in order to visit? I have been to 10, 12 countries this year. I don't know. Not a single one has asked me about a COVID vaccination. Now, Australia asked me at least 2 or 3 different times if I had any domestic abuse in my past. Like if I had abused anybody. They ask everybody that. They ask it multiple ways, so you know, but you didn't misunderstand them. They ask the same question multiple ways. You know what they're asking you. But no one's asking me about a COVID vaccination in 2024. So if you're looking at places that used to have requirements, I would double check and see if they still do. All right, what y'all doing in the chat? Yes, Eve, we can frolic in Asia. I know you're for the streets. Eve is for the streets. Eve and Melvin. Real streety. And don't you need to get back to Bali and do some things? Let's see. I have nothing no. The small cities in Vietnam are lovely places. The large cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh are places I will never go back to. I have multiple videos about this on my channel. I'm not going to get into it now because y'all not going to trigger my trauma today. I will say I don't need to go back. I'm good. They know. They know. Woo! We're not doing that. All right. Okay, we got this one. Okay. I think this is going to be biased. So think about the countries I went to this year. It might be Fiji. And that's okay. So that's not cute. I'm saying this in like, they were just darling people. Not that like I felt very sexually attracted to anybody. I don't think I did not have any one of those moments. There was this guy. To make sure no one ever watches this. No one from my hotel ever watched. Turn it off if you know where I stayed and you work where I stayed. Don't watch this. There was this guy, and he was like attractive, built like just a brick wall, hot, dumb. The man was so dumb. The man was so. It was very much like the one guy where I was like, oh hey, he's talking. He's talking. But yes, I think my answer for the year would be Fiji. Because they like there's something about that. Like it's just like I think the surprise blackness, right? That I wasn't expecting. Like got them some extra points. So many gold teeth, but like in a cute way. Oh, there was this one guy who had like a gold like a decal like on one of the teeth. So also I think one of the things about Fiji was that it seemed like the people were open to express their femininity and their masculinity in any way that felt comfortable for them. So like we're at the resort and this one guy, I think the guy with the tooth decal, is laughing, and it is one of the most feminine laughs I've heard a male make in so long. Like it was a full-on giggle, right? And there was no like, oh, I shouldn't do. There was no like self-censoring. He was like, it was very much like this. Like there was no thought, no one looked. It was just like he was free to be who he was, and we saw it over and over and over again. And I think people are just hotter when they don't have to like confine themselves to other people's ideas of their gender roles. Generally, it's a little bit more relaxed, it's a little easier, right? If you're not always trying to like prove masculinity or like perform it. And so, yeah, I think that's why I would say them. His laugh was so adorable. He just giggled. Anyhow, yeah, I think Fiji. Hot. I'd probably give it to South Africa. Probably. No, like so many gold teeth, but like in the way that like your favorite uncle might have a gold tooth. It was like Stephanie and I were like, you see that? You see that? It was so like charming. It was so charming. So charming. Here you go, CC. No questions. I knew one of y'all would have asked. I knew it. Decal on his teeth, and it was beautiful. It was just like, look at this man, this boy child. Look at him, adorable. I say all that. If you're a woman of a certain age, you already know hot and smart in the same person is hard to find. Um, I didn't say hot and smart. I said hot. And I'm not saying they're not smart. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I didn't find out. I think it was like a star or something. I think it was a star. All right. Hot and smart gets snapped up with the quickness. So I was so amused that the dumb guy in dumb is that's why I don't want anyone to see this video. Dumb is does not. I don't like that I just boiled down someone's entire existence to dumb. So I don't like that. But I was amused that he was one of the very few single men. One of the very, very few single men the men that like we knew were single working at the resort. I think the smart ones in Fiji got snapped up. All right. Yes, JG, to your last question. Shh. Okay. All right. Of all the places you've been, what's your favorite? That's a hard one. I don't think I have a. I forget where I've been. My memory is getting worse with time. So I don't know. But let me see if I can think of the places I've been by opening the Bin app and figuring out where I favorite. I really enjoyed the Seychelles. I really liked Johannesburg. I'm a big city girl. So like you put me in any big city and I'm like, okay, vibey. I like Malaysia except for the humidity, but you can't really get it without the humidity, like Kuala Lumpur without the humidity. So, right? I liked Iceland. I felt safe there. I liked Aruba. I liked Switzerland. Switzerland did not like me or my budget. It wasn't. It wasn't like the people. It was like, why is miso soup $20? What are we? What are we talking about? What does that mean? Miso soup and a salad, a tea. Why is that $20? That's the stuff that comes before the meal. That should be $20. Ireland. Ireland moved up on my list this year. So Dublin, I was like, cool, no big deal. But when I went to visit my friend who lives a little north and I took the train along the water, I was like, your commute to work is a train, like a metro kind of like train. Or like a commuter train, probably a better description. On the coastline? Is there a sign-up sheet? How do I get on the list? Ireland, I liked. Scotland I like generally, not necessarily the cities I went to. I just love a city, so I should bring it up. Jamaica also had quite some hotness happening. Unfortunately, any of the hotness I saw, I was probably related to. So, probably because I wasn't gonna find out. But there was some hotness in Jamaica. Yeah, I think those few were some of my favorites. Do I repeat places? I love repeating places. Oh, I love it. I'm gonna go back. Now, if I repeat a place, I'll typically try to add on something close by that I've never been to before. I've been to South Africa. I've been to Johannesburg like 4 or 5 times. I love it. I'm not the kind of person that feels like I need to go to all the places in the world before I repeat places, because I don't want to go to all the places in the world. If I like a place, I'll be there. You'll see me there. So, yeah, I definitely repeat. Um, I'd been to Mexico City 4 times in probably 4 years before I moved here. I'm a repeater, and not like to see if I wanted to live here, but just because I really liked it. Mm-mm. So, all right. Questions? Oh, this is a good question, Miss Boring. Do you feel like your previous experience as a lawyer has informed how you're able to travel? Example, like reading wild documentation? Yes and no. Um, my job as a lawyer, my practice, my personal practice throughout was either creating documents for banks, real estate companies, car companies, including car rental documents. Your girl has written car rental agreements. So I'll read a car rental agreement at the counter. Just know what it says. You're not gonna rush me. I'm gonna read this. Sometimes I'm like, let me just sign this because I don't feel like it. Um, but normally when I travel, there's not a lot you have to read. There's probably a lot you could read that I'm not reading. Like when I go to a hotel, I'm sure there's like when I get to the front desk and if they give you something, I'll skim it pretty quickly. But whatever terms I agree to when I actually book the hotel, girl, I don't know. Just give me a place to sleep. Give me a place to sleep and leave me alone. Stay in my room. Right. So yes and no. Like it has informed how I travel in that like I'm I wrote documents. The other side of writing the document is figuring out how to make sure the company does what it says in the document. Like the document says, we have to give you 30-day notice before we blah, blah, blah. So now I got to make sure that we can give 30-day notice and that we always give 30-day notice. And the way to do that is to think about every single thing that could go wrong about giving 30-day notice and plug all the holes. So something about my person, who I am deep inside, that has been like ingrained over the years, is I'm always looking at the risks, right? Like I know if I go to a adventure kind of thing, they're gonna have me signing something that says, if I die, it's on me. I don't really need to read that. It's gonna say the same thing. If I die, I can't sue them, right? So that's where it's not really helpful. The part that informs how I travel is that I think a lot more about like, oh, like, is this person licensed? Or they, you know what I mean? Like, now I might not look at it. I might not actually do the research to find out, but I think about it. So, some more worries. It just creates more worries. Nothing really like very helpful. Worries, concerns. Okay. Are you reading any good books these days? I was reading some books by Kennedy Ryan, kind of a chick litty book read, kind of. I don't know what we call that. Beach read. Uh, and I was supposed to read a book by Tommy Orange called They're There that two friends randomly recommended to me around the same time, and I didn't. So that's over there. I always have books from Libby on my Kindle, and then I never actually read the books. So, all right. How for art do you plan your time away or mostly on a whim? It depends. I'm not a person that wants to plan events or things ahead of time because I'm truly if I wake up in the morning and don't feel like it, I don't want to do it. And I don't want to feel like I spent all this money paying for something like 2 months in advance, like a tour or this. Some people are about people who are like want a planned itinerary when they show up. I just want to show up. I'll figure it out. Is it the best way to go? No. Is it a way to go? Yes. So I don't like my general plan is like as soon as I realize I want to or I need to do something, I book a ticket, I book a hotel room, and I figure it out later. So New Orleans, I booked like 3 weeks ago because that's when I found out when the bachelorette party would be. It's only 3 days, it's not a big deal. This trip that I just took, I bought the Fiji ticket in November to travel in July. But the Australia and New Zealand tickets, or like plan, I created later, a lot later. So yes, some on a whim, some far out. It depends. If I know I'm going, like I knew I was going to Fiji for Stephanie's birthday. It's not the kind of place. I thought it was the kind of place where like here's a hotel and here's a hotel, but where the hotel was, there was nothing else around. So if we weren't staying at the same hotel, we wouldn't have seen each other, or we might have seen each other once or twice. But like it was like $100 to get anywhere on the island. How much of that would we have both been doing, right? To meet up to do things. We didn't leave the resort. It was fine. So it just depends on what I got going on. All right. JG does not like walking tours. I love walking tours. I love walking tours. Tell me everything. I'm going to ask some questions too. When I was in New Zealand, it was cold and rainy every day. And I usually schedule a walking tour for the first full day I'm in town. And I didn't schedule one. And so I didn't schedule one for the first day because it wasn't available. It was available on the second day. So the second day I woke up, I got there at night, and then one full day I hadn't left the hotel room. And then the second day, morning of, I was like, I don't really want to go on this tour, but I know myself. And I was like, if I don't leave the hotel room now for a walking tour, I'm never leaving this hotel room. I'm gonna be getting back on the flight to Sydney like I saw nothing of Auckland, New Zealand. So I went on a tour. It was good. Learned some things. Went about my business. A free walking tour. Love it. Okay. I'm seeing your questions. Natasha asks, what African country is your favorite thus far and why? I think I like a little something about all of the countries in Africa I've been to. My favorite would be South Africa. I'm a big city girl, right? Like Johannesburg just works for me. Egypt, great, but like not for me to live there, right? Morocco, challenging, not for me to live there. Yeah, which leads into Pamela's question, which is there a second country where you'd like to explore residency in the future? I think I would in South Africa. But I don't feel pressed to do it. I know I say this enough, but I think you guys have already heard me say it. If you're thinking of getting residency somewhere, go do it, right? Do it now before it's harder to do. And I should take my advice for South Africa. I already have 2 residencies. I can get a third in England if I want it. I can probably get Scotland. I can get Jamaica. Like without, they're unlikely to close their doors to children of their individual, I would say diasporas, but I don't know if we can even say that about, anyway. So yeah, I know I could easily get England. I can get Jamaica. So in a sense that like, if I feel like I needed another residency, I needed to go somewhere else, I can go to other places. And so I'm not worried about it. If you only have one residency and you don't think you want to stay in that country for the rest of your life, I would say start looking for where you want to get another one. So yes, I want South Africa. I think I want South Africa. I'm not in a rush to do it. It happens when it happens. Which answers this question. Besides Mexico City, what other country would you live in? I'd live in Johannesburg. I think I would spend, I don't know if I'd want to live in Johannesburg full time. I would spend time there. Their winters sound unfun. I'm here for a good time. So I don't know if I'd be full time in Johannesburg, but I like it. Let's see. Oh, and I don't do prison tours. Prisons, and like military buildings or museums. Mm-mm, mm-mm. We all get to like different things. No, because the violence against women is international. It doesn't. All right. Got a lot of questions. Y'all are doing good tonight. Do you have a favorite luggage brand? I don't have a favorite. I don't have a luggage brand that is like, oh, I love them. I'm never buying anything else. But Samsonite has never failed me. Sturdy, lasts for years. I have been failed by like other stuff. Samsonite has not failed me. I'm not like, ooh, I'm such a fan, but they get the job done. I told you guys last year, year before, about the time I flew out, I think to La Paz or Puerto Vallarta, one of those places. So like Baja. Anyhow. And I had a suitcase that I'd used one time, got it at Target, used it one time. Second time I used it, the zipper opened on the belt and my everything was everywhere. The most embarrassing part was that I've decided that I really like disposable period panties. Really enjoy them. That first day of my period, sit me in a diaper, please. But I can't get like the actual ones for periods in Mexico. So I just buy adult diapers. So you know where I'm going. My adult diapers were going around on the belt, along with my panties, shoes, socks, clothes, everything. Twas a moment. Twas a moment. Okay. The zipper wasn't broken. We do not know why it opened. Like wide open. I put it away in the closet, didn't use it again. I used it for this trip, Fiji to now, Southern California, Fiji now. Because at the last minute, I realized that I needed another suitcase. I'm not even looking at your comments right now because I can't. Whew. Okay. So I realized I needed, right when I was leaving, I realized I needed to leave with 2 suitcases, not 1. So I grabbed the other suitcase, put the stuff in it, and crossed my fingers. Baby, that suitcase could not stand upright. It just kept, every time you put it, anytime I wasn't holding the handle, it just fell over. It just fell over. It just fell over. Finally, I was like, Stephanie, let's go to Ross, I think. We went to Ross. I picked up a Samsonite. I have not had a single issue since. It stands up. It's hard-sided. It does everything I want it to do. Thank you, ma'am. Right? I would love... I am the kind of person that saves things, nice things, for like the right occasion, which is one of the reasons I think I can't buy like really nice luggage. Like the Vermoa luggage looks amazing, but it's like $900 a bag. Where would I, and I would just hand it to someone and hope that I get it back without damage? Nah, dog. It's a no for me. It's a no for me. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. There's another related question somewhere around here. Where'd it go? I feel like someone asked a question, but now I can't find. Oh, so this obviously related. Checked brand. It's Samsonite just because it's easy. But there was another question about packing, which I cannot find. But because I'm here, I'm going to show you what I do. I have I've opened both my suitcases. Because it's Sunday and I'm leaving again on Thursday, my unpacking is taking stuff out of my suitcase, figuring out whether I'm going to take it on my next trip. If I take it on my next trip, I put it over here. If not, I put it away. Or I move it away. And either me or my girl, when she comes here on Friday, will do that. By the way, she came on Friday. I landed Sunday morning. I leave on Thursday. So I will not, I will have been gone for like 6 weeks. And my housekeeper is going to come in and see that I've been here, but I'm gone again. So fun times. But what I do in my suitcase, I carry a couple trash bags with me normally. You never know when you might need one, like 2. One here is, I'm a bit of a germaphobe, so let that color what we're going to talk about now. Okay, so in here is a duffel bag that when I need to, there's stuff inside. When I need to, I fill it up with things, either like for one reason or another. Like if I need another bag, I've got the duffel bag, super light, easy to carry. It was in my storage unit. I don't know where it came from. I guess my mom probably, I don't know. Or my dad, I don't know. Anyhow, so yeah, I travel with that. I travel with that in the trash bag because I have checked it before. And if you've been on a conveyor belt, you don't touch my clothes. Just like the suitcase don't go on the bed. Same thing, same. I think the only time I've had to be like, oh no, we don't do that here, is when my cleaning lady put my suitcase on my bed, and I was like, oh no, 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 no. There's never a reason for that to happen. No, 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 no. Let's talk about. And usually, I let whatever she wants to do, she does it. Listen, you clean your way. Suitcase is on the bed. I was like, oh, sweetheart. No, you're, ooh, you are. There's a little bit of tension happening inside right now when I see this. So yeah, shoes go in shoe bags. And sometimes if I like get an extra pair of shoes on the road or something, I'll put them in those hotel plastic bags. But shoes are always in bags, and duffel bag is in a bag. Because you're not touching my period panties, my disposable period panties. No. So yeah. Yes, DL, I am home in Mexico City for 3 days, and then I'll be back for a much longer time. Let's see. Yeah, no, I left that suitcase with the bellman at that hotel in Anaheim. Like, he was like, "You don't want it?" I was like, where can I get rid of a suitcase? He was like, "You don't want it?" I said, "No, baby, you don't stand up." And he was like, "Just leave it here. Someone else is gonna need an extra suitcase, and it's gonna get them home. Good for you. It's not going." When I have two large suitcases, a tote bag, and a small rolling bag, I have 3 suitcases I need to manage myself. A suitcase that does not stand up on its own, can't cut it. Mm-mm. That's me. That's me. Yeah, I'm not flying private yet. So them $900 bags. I was in the mall with a man who was trying to date me once, and he bought one of those. Like, the way he was buying things, I was like, oh, we're short timers. Okay, thanks. Because I think that suitcase was $1,000, and even if you have it, you're not flying private. So no matter where you are on the plane, I think it was white too. I was like, we're not here. We're not here. Short times. Good times. Short times. I found it in the mall. Let's see. Oh yeah, no, nothing's not. Listen, Abba says her one criteria for luggage is durability. I've tried all the big name luggage brands and have all been damaged. Yes, my Samsonites get damaged, but they last longer for me than other bags, right? So like, no, the Samsonite, but what I've been carrying the longest, like parts of it are broken off, but not parts that impact my ability to use it and use it well. It's fine. It's fine. Mm-mm. My second residency is the US. For those of you that don't know, I was on a green card for a long time in the US. No, not that long. 10 years? 12 years maybe. 13 years. So yeah, I had residency. I have a green card from Mexico now. I had a green card in the US until my mom became a citizen, and because I was under 16, I did too. So yeah, so it's not my place of birth. So it is like I am a citizen, but like it is, I do think of it as like residency in another country. When you got to fill out that paperwork, when you got to do them and go to the thing, go down to the city hall and raise your hand and say them things, it counts as another residency. So yes, I consider Mexico my second residency. The US is my first residency. Mexico is my second residency. I cannot live in England right now because I have not done the paperwork to tell them I want to, because I don't really want to. It'd be cold. It's raining sideways. It's freezing. Yeah. Okay. We got 30 minutes left. I am avoiding some of your questions. I'm gonna try. Listen, you know who you are. I'm gonna get to it. We're gonna work this out. Janefa, I do not remember who I told you to collaborate with. I have no idea. My memory is like a butterfly. You got to catch it, put it in a jar, a lightning bug. Catch it, put it in a jar, and hold on to it. Because, girl, I don't know. I be saying things and they make sense at the time. Later on, now if we went back to the same conversation, I would remember. But without any context, other than I said this thing, Stephanie all the time will be like, "You said X," and I'm like, "No, I don't think so. That don't sound like me." And then she'll give me some extra context, and I'll be like, "Oh, I said that. I did. I absolutely did." Thank you. I watched it today because I wasn't gonna get on camera with what it was looking like this morning. I think I want to cut it a lot shorter. See what happens. All right, let's keep going. We did this one. On average, how many hours are you living in the friendly skies versus land? Not that many hours in flight, but the flight is usually not the problem. It's the getting to the airport. It's the waiting at the airport. It's the delay. So my best friend lives on an island off the coast of Vancouver. It took us, we gave an hour and a half to get from her home to where the ferry was to Seattle. I took a ferry 3-4 hours. Okay, so we took an hour and a half on the drive. It was really like an hour, so we had some extra time. Waited in the ferry because you got to go through immigration on the island. U.S. immigration you go through on the island. Ferry for 3 hours. Get to Seattle, have to go do customs in Seattle. So they separate immigration and customs. U.S. immigration happens on the Vancouver Island side. U.S. customs happens on the Seattle side. I've never seen them separated by a waterway before. Okay. Coming into the US was fine. Coming into Canada, the man was kind of weird. Not like a bad way. It's kind of weird. I can't remember what he asked me, but he asked me something and I was like, either gonna let me in or not, dog. Like, that's not what I said, but that was my first thought. Like, are you trying to make this a thing? Because we don't have to make this a thing. Like, he's looking at the immigration computer and says, "Have you ever been to Canada before?" I have been to Canada every single year of my life since I was 18. I'm 45. You've pulled me up in your immigration system. You know that. You know, they always know that. You know how many times I've been to Canada. You know when I was here last. Why are you trying to get me to lie to you? What are we doing? What's happening? Anyhow, random. And that's not to say anything bad about Canadian immigration. I've been going there every year since I was 18, and I've never had anything happen like that before. I guess 2 years I didn't go. 2020 and 2021. I didn't go. Other than that, every year. Multiple times a year. Have you ever been to Canada before? You're not going to trick me, dog. Like, what are we? You see what it's. Anyway, so immigration. Sidebar. Immigration ferry, customs, Uber to the airport, which I didn't Uber this time. You know, they're always like, don't get in the cars of the strangers who are offering you rides. Uber was $70. That man was $40. I got in his car. But I realized as I was getting in his car that there was a whole community of men. All the ones I met were from immigrants from different African countries. And they picked up people at the ferry terminal and then the cruise ship terminal and took them either downtown or thingy. And so like he was trying to get somebody else to get in the car with me. So I'm like, you're not trying to kidnap two different sets of people at the same time, right? I don't really think you're doing that. And I don't think you're really like the fact that you made another stop at the cruise ship terminal trying to get someone in. I think I'm fine. And I watched the map. I was fine. But I normally would never do that. But for some reason I was like, to save $30, let's see what happens. Okay. Checking in at the airport took some time. Had to wait for my flight for over 5 hours. The problem with having a friend who lives on a small island is it's never a one-day experience for me, right? Because I was leaving San Francisco. So of course, San Francisco to Pacific Northwest, there's going to be there was not a single direct flight from SFO to anywhere not a single place on her island. And I was like, I don't understand. It's right there. You boop and you bop and you're right there. Boop, bop, boop, boop, boop. Nothing. So you have to do this like multi-stop, or I could like fly to Alberta, fly to Calgary and then go over. And I was like, I don't want to do all that. I had a friend in Seattle. I was like, I'll take the ferry. All this to say, it's not the time of the air. I spent 4 hours in the air, but the travel day was still like 22 hours. If you count the time change, I think 20 hours. Only 4-hour flight. It's never the flight. That's the problem. And I know there is a problem. Like I had to spend a day traveling. My friend lives on what should not be a remote island, but it is. To get to her, I'm either taking a ferry, a float plane, which I love. I love the float planes. A big ferry, a little ferry, a float plane, something like that. Or like flying to Calgary and taking a direct into the small airport in her town. It's always something. So no, it's never the hours. I'm on ground most of my time. It's just the travel time around flights is a lot. Yeah. Oh, I love a ferry. Put me on a boat? Put me on a boat? I could live on a large ship. Full of people I wanted to see or nobody else. Those are the only rules. Oh, okay. Janafa, if you spoke about disabled Black women moving abroad, I told you to speak to Eve. That's the context clue. That I told you. If you give me context, I know what I'm talking about. I told you, yes, this is exactly who I told you to talk to. Disabled Diva Travels. Woo! See, context clues. All I need is to know what we were talking about. I love a ferry. A boat. I was on a ferry somewhere earlier this year. Ooh. Leaving somewhere, Ireland, Northern Ireland, somewhere in Great Britain, and going to somewhere else in that same region. It was the nicest ferry I've ever seen in my life. Listen, the bar was like a clear bar. There was a clear restaurant. There was this. I said, oh, y'all living big out here. I love it. I love it. All right. Yeah, no, I love a ferry. Give it to me. That Ritz-Carlton cruise is going to see me again. It's going to see me again because, baby, loved it. Loved it. Okay, what else do we have? Chanel gives me a little too much credit. You're an old pro at world travel, but did you learn something new or find something surprising in the past year or so? I find that I learn something new every time I travel, or I experience something new every time I travel. But the same reason I couldn't tell you, Jennifer, what I was talking about before is the same reason I'm not going to remember it. Like I need to be in the context to remember what is the thing. I made some mistakes, like in Sydney and in Auckland. I needed to have done more research before I'm the kind of person who's like, I'll just show up and figure it out. Those are not, Auckland specifically is not a show up and figure it out place. Ain't nothing to do there. You're going to sleep, you're going to eat. And then you're going to leave the city. So 5 days for me was too long there. Do you know, like, but I take them as like, oh, I know this now. I've been slipping. I should have done more research, but not like, oh no, this ruined my experience. It was like, okay. I had a really nice Uber driver on the way to the airport in Auckland, and he was like, what you need to do is come back and rent an RV for 3 or 4 weeks and drive around. And I was like, okay, so I'm not going to do that. I don't see myself driving an RV for 3 or 4 weeks in a place where I've heard about y'all's roads. It's not really a road. It's just a dirt path between cities. Not me, not in an RV. So I just need to figure out like how I can travel in a place like that in a way that makes sense for me. We'll figure it out. Yeah, so like I said, I learn things every time, but there's nothing that really sticks out. Janefa Eve tagged you. She's Disabled Diva Travels. This person right here. She's the person who I told you to connect with. Oh, you've rewatched the live, Amber? Oh, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. Yeah. Stephanie says she's gonna be driving around New Zealand. Good for you, girl. Listen, I will be driven around New Zealand. I didn't say I couldn't do the road trip. I can hit the stereo. Stephanie knows I'm good for some snacks. I'll get us coordinated. I just don't see myself driving. And like I can help with the driving. It's driving, like being expected to drive regularly for 3 to 4 weeks. Mm-mm. No, not for me. I did not make it to Wellington. Back to some more questions. Ra asks, what color do you wear that makes you feel confident in charge of where you're going? I love wearing yellow because I think Black women just shine in yellow. Also, it's my color. If you're watching this chat and your name is Stephanie Perry, please remember, yellow is my color. But I don't know if I don't know if there's one color I put on and I feel most confident. I think I've been struggling with clothes recently because I'm holding on to clothes that I love that don't necessarily fit me right now. And so I probably need to stop doing that and let go of clothes that don't fit and start getting clothes that fit more. And then I'll probably start feeling more confident. But no, I can't think of any one color, but I'm like, this is like my power color. Because I look good in everything. Jewel tones up here. Catch me in a jewel tone, you're going to see something. Eden asks if I've ever done small group escorted tours. What was your experience like? I've done small group trips, and I have a video coming up about my favorite ones this week. So if I get to editing. which is pretty much all done. I just need to watch it one more time. You'll see the video this week. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe and get the video. Pamela asks if I have a favorite podcast. I have fallen out of podcasts. I used to listen to podcasts religiously a long time ago, and I'm listening to them less now. I tend to listen to the read when I am like out for a walk, whether that is a walk through a long airport or a walk through a city. I listen to it. I used to, if they put them out on Thursdays, I would have listened to it by like Saturday every week. And now I'm like, oh, I haven't listened to the one from 2 months ago. Anything. I haven't listened to anything in the past 2 months. Okay. I would love some podcast recommendations. If you guys have podcast recommendations, I'd like to get back into that more. So drop your podcast recos. I don't have them. I have not been into it. I don't know what's going on. I think something about lockdown, about COVID, has lessened my desire or ability to intake a lot of new things. Like if I watch stuff on TV, it's usually something I've watched before. This past week, I fell asleep watching Ocean's 11 like 4 times. I can probably tell you that movie line for line. The Inside Man, listen, put it on, go to sleep. Great. I wake up, there's some action, I go back to sleep, whatever, no big deal. But like new stuff, I really struggle with like intaking new stuff. But if you have a favorite podcast, recommend it. Tell the people in the chat. Let us know. All right. I got some comments. Let me see what y'all did. Co-working this week. Maybe by Tuesday we'll be co-working. Probably not Thursday because I've got a flight out at 10, I think. Let's see. Candace drove around New Zealand. Probably never again, but I love that place. All right. All right, let's see. I think I tried the friend zone. Like sometimes it's hard to like hopscotch into a podcast that's been around for a long time because like you're missing so much of the background. I think that's what might have happened with me in the friend zone. I don't think I didn't like it. I think I was just like, I don't have enough. Okay. LeVar Burton reads. Ooh, I haven't heard of that one. Interesting. Okay. I think The Joke's on You. I think that's what it's called. Is a podcast I've started. Okay. I like this podcast, but a lot of times when I'm listening to it, they're a little raunchy, but like, and they're Black women having a good time. And I love that. That's my favorite genre. I think that's what it's called. The Joke's on You or something like that. And now I can't find it. Or Us. Wait a minute. Here we go. It showed up. Joke's on You podcast. But the issue I have listening to it is that a lot of times I know like they do a video version as well, right? And you just hear audio on the podcast. I know I need to see it. And I'm usually listening to podcasts when I'm walking and I can't see it because we're doing stuff where it's like you need to see what they're actually doing sometimes, more than like with the read. Yes. JG is the opposite. COVID had her listening to everyone. Silence. Give me silence. Give me nothing. All right. Some more questions. Miss Bourne wants to know again about the law. Are you in law school, Miss Bourne? Are you a lawyer? This is your second legal question. What was your initial reason for practicing law? And do you ever consider going back, consulting, or otherwise for additional income? To answer your second question first, no, I do not consider going back. I don't want to consult. I don't want the way Americans generally, and I say this because it's the way American corporations, I'm going to fix that. The way American corporations deal with lawyers is very much, I own you. And I've clocked out of that system and I won't be going back, even as like a part-time or a consultant or like as my own firm. They like still, when a client calls on a Friday night and they need an answer by Monday morning, they don't care about your weekend. They don't. I would call so I was in-house. I started at a law firm and then I moved to be a lawyer inside of a company. I call that, for anyone who doesn't know, that's what an in-house lawyer is. I'm a lawyer for one company. I work inside of the company. I had lawyers outside of the company, like at law firms that I would work with. People would come to me and ask me a question. I don't have to answer all your questions. I would call someone at the law firm or send them an email and be like, can you give me an answer to this? And then when the answer would come back, I would explain it to my clients in a way they understood. Sometimes I wouldn't need this help because I already know the answer, but sometimes if it's like when I worked for a company, we first started doing rental car law, I'm not, oh, there's a rental car expert right there. There's one rental car expert in the entire country. There's only one lawyer who really knows rental car law in the entire country. We gonna call her because I'm not gonna learn it from scratch. When you want to answer in 2 days and there's an expert right there, I'm gonna call her. So I would call her and her firm. And if it's a Friday and they need an answer by Monday or Tuesday, I just ruined her weekend, or an associate in her office's weekend. My weekend's not getting ruined, but I'm calling her to ruin her weekend. I'm not doing that again. I couldn't. Mm-mm. Now clients would ruin my weekend, but in-house clients would ruin my weekend in other ways. I gotta bang out this letter to you telling you why you dumb and your idea is stupid and you gonna go to jail. I'm not going to jail though because I put it in writing. You big dummy. But clients don't like being told they're dumb for one reason or another. And not dumb because they don't know the law, dumb because they're arguing with me about the law. Like, it's illegal to do this. But I read it and I don't think that's what it says. Well, now you're dumb. Because first of all, I'm the one that's paid to read it, not you. This is not a difference of opinion. It's not like, this is not my opinion. This is based on like 30 or 40 years of like legal precedent of how this law has been interpreted. So you can read it and think it says one thing, but I, based on knowing all of this stuff, know what it says. So you're a big dummy for arguing with me. Big dummy? Anyhow, no. My initial reason for practicing law was I'm an expensive girl. I've known that for a long time. I was graduating from college. I went to work at a part-time at a real, I was one of the people who graduated college, like, I just want to be out. I don't care what I do. I do not care about a job. I just need to be, like, some people like look for jobs in college. I was looking to graduate in college. Anything else, I do not, just get me past it. Let's get this diploma together, baby, and get out of here. And so I was working part-time as a receptionist. I was working for a temp agency. I was working part-time as a receptionist for a real estate company. And I realized I can't afford to live the life I want to live like this. Who paying? I went to law school. That's literally it. I cannot afford myself on what I'm making right now. What else can I do? I cannot afford myself. What are my other options? If that tells you anything about, like, let that add some context over here. I'm spendy. And ain't no money. This 4 hours a day is no money. And I don't want to work much harder than this. What are we doing? Oh no, I know dumb clown talks in the corporate space. Oh, I know. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Ooh, how did this get made? Hollywood pros watch bad movies on purpose. That sounds good. Okay. Oh, you guys have all kinds of recommendations. Native Land podcast. Esther Perel, Code Switch, Dates and Mates, Savage Lovecast. I've tried. I've tried listening to Esther Perel before. I don't like it. I don't something about her voice, and I don't think it's her accent. But something about her voice isn't soothing to me. So just like I don't want. I have a friend who keeps sending me videos, like reels of men speaking into microphones. And I have to keep telling her, I don't want that. I don't want that. Because usually, like, the platform that uploaded it just has like a thoughts and a question mark on the bottom. I don't want that. And that's not what Esther Perel gives me, but whatever it is, I couldn't get into it. I think I like my podcast to be fun. That might be what it is. Like I can do some education, some like advancement, but I like them to be fun, like low thinking. Like second date update. It's a fun 10 minutes and then we're done. If you're not used to it, someone calls in about someone they went on a date with and then ghosted them. There are many versions of it around the country. Someone calls in, says, this is what happened. And then the DJs call the other person on the phone and say, tell us why you ghosted this person. And they don't know the other person's listening in. It's hilarious most of the time. The other day, a man really liked a woman, but ghosted her because she talked while eating her coffee cake. And he was like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And she was like, I like you so much. And he was like, great. But I could see the food while you were talking. Light. Give me light. Give me light, please. Okay. Questlove Supreme, Therapy for Black Girls, Small Doses of Amanda Seales. I do not see it from Amanda Seales. You won't see me online saying negative things about her, but I'm not watching her content. I just don't. Flourish in the Foreign, Black Sit Global. Yes. Good choices there. Let's see. Fish Jelly Podcast. It's a hilarious married gay couple who spoil movies on purpose. Great for movies I'm not going to see. Okay. Tell me when you're taking donations for the cause. There is a lot of interest. You just haven't hit the right places. Stephanie and I'm putting Stephanie into it now. She gonna give you some money. I'm gonna give you some money. What are we doing? What are we gonna put in their hands in exchange of microphones? Because they need something in their hands. So what are we doing instead of? Because this can't be it. It can't. No. Underrated hijabi? Okay. All right. Let me actually write something down. Because here's the thing. You guys give me a lot of ideas and then I'll be forgetting. So I'm writing a couple things down. You know what I should actually do is look them up right now on my phone while I get to the next question. We've been doing this for 2 hours already, so we got to wrap this up sometime soon. I will not leave before I get these thingies, though. Okay, it looks like Underrated Hijabi is not on Apple Podcasts, which is where I use my podcasts. So I want to find them. Tell me where they are. I'll find them somewhere else. Okay. JM, any advice for first-time business owners, yes and no. Um, it's hard to give advice with just that amount of context. A first-time business owner, you could be operating a two-person, and this is not for you specifically, but generally, you could be operating a two-a-day cat sitting daycare situation, or you could dive in and be doing like something that requires you to have a whole bunch of stock on hand. So I can't really give advice generally for that. What I would say is if you're a first-time business owner, try to start a business that does not require you investing a lot of money. When Stephanie and I started Exodus Summit, I don't think we spent any money until we made money. Ain't no logo, ain't no trademark. Who gonna buy these tickets? Y'all buying tickets? Like, what are we doing? Nothing. When we started, and our first year, we had a free ticket level and a paid ticket level, and we had sponsors. When we got the sponsors, we were like, okay, we can do this. Paid everybody, right? But I see a lot of people start businesses that are like, oh, I've invested $20,000, $15,000, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yes, you can do that, but I would not do that as your first business. So if you already have your business and that's what it is, girl, I don't know. But that is what I would say for people who are considering their first business. Try to do something or do something at a scale where you're getting sales before you're spending a lot of money. I doubt we had spent $500 before we were getting money in. I doubt we'd spent $200 before we were getting money in. And we're still like that. We still don't pay for things. Like there's no merchandise, etc. All right. That's my advice. Evie Scott was a good one earlier I missed. How do you deal with unsolicited opinions, especially criticism of your freedom, especially as a child-free single woman? I don't even hear them, girl. Because like, I think also, and Evie, I think we're in generally the same place. I'm 45. What are you going to say about me being child-free at this point? Like, take that to the 20-year-olds. I'm 45. I am not intentionally filling my uterus with those mushy things. Right? Like, that don't sound, it didn't sound good to me at 20. It doesn't sound good to me now, 25 years later. So I don't experience criticism of it. I think because I don't really speak about being child, people know that I'm child-free who encounter me. But I don't specifically talk about it because I also don't think it's like, for me, it's not, children have never been a large part of my identity. Children have never been any part of my identity, whether I was going to have them or not. I never really thought about children. And so I get those unsolicited opinions quite a bit, especially on here. But I tell you guys all the time, do not give me your unsolicited opinions. And if I say it and you don't pay attention to it, you'll get blocked. You might not know it, but I can't see your comments anymore. Because I heard someone say the other day, and Evie, this might be helpful, I don't know, that boundaries, when someone sets a boundary with you, it's a form of like love, in the sense that it's like, it's a form of the person who's setting the boundary trying to keep you in their life. I will say no, in like the most applicable way, no unsolicited opinions, please. Because I want to keep you around. And if you can't respect that, I just block you. In real life, I would just stop talking to you. If you always have something to say, and it's not affirming the life I have chosen as I live it, I'll just block. I ain't talked to my daddy for like 5 years. If I cannot talk to one of the people who created me, there's no one on this planet I can't not talk to. So yeah, so online, every once in a while, someone will come in, especially on the Exodus Summit channel, where we talk about like Black women moving abroad. And I get in this channel, like I think we've gotten to a point where like most of the people who are watching are like my people. Every once in a while, a stranger comes in. Exodus Summit has a lot of like strangers, and they're all like, you're talking about life, but you're not married, so I know you're sad, or you don't have kids, so I know you're sad, or like in your talk about moving abroad, you didn't mention Christ once, so you must be sad. Okay, all right. Like, I'm very good at like either telling someone that I want around. Please don't do that, because I like you, but I don't like that. Please don't do that. Or just be like, oh, I say dead to me, and not really in the sense that like they are dead to me, but like I forget people exist all the time. I forget people, and so in my real life. So people on the internet, I was looking at some online criticism the other day, and I was in my brain, I didn't say this because I'm trying to be a kind person. But in my brain, I was like, listen, there's no point in me responding to you because like I didn't know you existed before this very moment. And if you died tomorrow, I would not know or care. Like you're just not an actual human. And you're not an actual human to me in the sense that like you're a fake name online. You might have 20 of these accounts. I can't care about what you say. And in real life, I'm gonna tell you to cut it out, or I'm just never gonna talk to you again, or I'm gonna cuss you out. One of those. One of those. I'm really big on boundaries. Really, really big on boundaries. So I don't get unsolicited opinions from people I know. I only get unsolicited opinions from people I don't know. I tell them to stop, or I block them. That's my answer. Okay, so Underrated Hijabi is a YouTube channel. Thank you. That was helpful. Okay. Mop and bucket. Angela Rochelle says, for the men of microphones, mop and bucket, hammer and nail, so many useful alternatives. And yet, these things predated the microphones, and you know what's happening. A lawnmower. Every year, my emotions around the summit are like that in the background. It's up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. 2 Fridays ago, Stephanie and I met, and I was a little deflated. And then last week we met, so excited because we nailed some things we've been trying to figure out, nailed them. And so a lot of our time in summit planning is trying to figure out exactly like getting things right, and the getting things when it doesn't feel right, when it doesn't feel like we have the right thing to serve to you guys, it doesn't feel exciting. It feels like, this isn't. But when we get something, when we're like, oh, that's the person for this thing, exciting. So I'm excited overall. It's going to be a bumpy road between now and the summit. If you have been here for 4 summits, this will be our 5th one. You can get on the wait list at exodussummit.com. If you've been around this whole time, you know that there's going to be some bumps, right? Something's going to happen along the way. We're used to it. We roll with it. I'm excited, but like I literally plan my year around this. Like I know I'm here now until the summit's over. That's what it is. So yes, excited. I'll be more excited on October 14th when it's actually all over. I'll be relieved when it's over. I'm excited now. I'll be relieved when it's over because like that last week before the summit, it's up and down. So this first section, August, September to the middle of September are going to be a little like, we got to get 1,000 things done. Middle of September to like the beginning of October, smooth sailing. Everything's done, smooth sailing. The very beginning of October, a smidge of chaos again, and then it's over. From doing this 4 years, that is how it goes every year. It'll be fine. I'm excited. I'm excited that you guys are excited. Watch your replays. If you have replays that you bought last year, if you bought the whatever we called it last year, Stephanie will tell us in a minute what we called it last year. The advanced thing. If you got that, make sure you're watching the replays because you get them for a year, so they're going to go away by the time the new summit starts. Watch them. Oh, Pamela says she legit listens to Octavia Rahim's rest session from last year's summit at least 5 times a week. That's amazing. I need to do that. I was stressed during her rest summit, so I did not rest at all. It was when all of our systems had gone haywire at the very beginning. But I need to sit down and like actually start listening to that more regularly. Yes. No, listen, y'all need to ask me something for me to have advice. I don't think I have it when the words just come. I'm not lying. I just don't know until I start talking. Who are you? And why are you on my phone? I don't know them people. All access pass. This year, the summit is about moving abroad, and specifically moving abroad quickly for people who want to move abroad before the next inauguration. It's going to help people who want to move abroad in a longer time frame. But if you need, like, we're going to give you the tools. If you're like, I need to get out of here right now. I would like to get out of here right now. We're going to give you some tools for that. So it's about, before we've been about a variety of things. We've really pulled career breaks into it a lot. This year, it's no sabbaticals, no career breaks. It's moving abroad. Francis, talk to Francis. Francis, if you have not gotten your book, Francis has emailed you multiple times. Check your inbox and then talk to Francis. The water crisis, I got back this morning. My pipes sound funny. It's raining now, but it hasn't rained. And the information I've gotten is it hasn't rained enough to fix the water crisis. It's not the kind of thing that's going to be fixed this year. Not with the rain we're getting. Climate change, baby. All right, so Kyoka, what advice would you give yourself 10 years ago? I was 35. I was living 10 years ago, 24. I was living in Ohio. Columbus, Ohio, for people who have not lived there, is a very great city for raising a family. It's not that great of a city for singles. I probably would have told myself to like move out. And I wanted to, but the work I did was really specific. And I wanted to keep doing that work because I enjoyed the work I did. I didn't enjoy the clients, but I enjoyed the work. I didn't enjoy the clients. It's just part of being in-house counsel. And it's probably why I should have quit lawyering a long time before I did. My job as a lawyer was to stop people from doing things that would get us in trouble. There are people in almost every company that has lawyers. There's someone who's like, I'm the guy you go to when you get in trouble. I'm not that guy. I come in ahead of time and stop you from getting in trouble. What that means is that when people have bright ideas about this thing they want to do, this program they want to start, this change they want to make, they come to me and I tell them why they're big dummies and they can't do that. I was incentivized to stop. Like, my entire job is to stop people from doing things that would get them in trouble. And their entire job is to do things that will make the company more money. You hear how those are not aligned goals. And so my everyday was fighting with people. And a lot of times people I liked. Some of them were definitely people I liked. But fighting with people every day about things that like aren't curing cancer. You're coming back to me for the third time about something I've told you no about twice. Let's have the conversation again about why this is illegal. Everywhere we do business, it's illegal. Let's talk about this. Great. And so for me, part of my advice would be get out of the situations that aren't serving you, right? Like, even if it looks good on paper, if a situation isn't bringing you joy, if it's not serving you, get out. At that point in 2024, I'd been in Columbus for 8 years, 8 winters, 8 gray from September to May's. I'd been at that company long enough. I knew that like, I like it, but there's no room for advancement. So I'm always going to be doing this thing, this very particular thing. I could leave for another company. The reason I didn't leave for another company is like, I worked for a car company, so I'd be going to places where cars are made. I didn't think Detroit was going to be better than Columbus. I didn't think Dallas was going to be better. I wanted to go to California. I wanted to go back to the Bay Area. So I did, to a place that didn't work out so well for me. But get out of situations that aren't serving you, even if they look good on paper. I would say trust yourself more. Trust yourself that you know what you're doing and you can do the things you want to do. Like, have more faith in the skills and talents you have fostered over the years. And I would also say I'm very good at this. When I'm on, I'm on. Some of y'all have seen me on. When I'm on, I am on. So I would say like really foster your network, but I was very good at that. Now that I don't have to, I'm very bad at it. I don't have to be on ever. I have to be on 4 days out of the year. The rest of the time, girl, what are we talking about? And so, yeah, I would say like, make sure that like you're fostering your network. One of the things about me, one of the things I think both I bring to Exit Summit, Stephanie does too, but like in different ways, is that we always know somebody who knows somebody who can do the thing we want, right? And when we don't know somebody, we're like, we'll ask somebody. People like us. It's fine. And so, yeah, being like leaning. If you've ever done StrengthsFinder, that book with the quiz, whatever. When I was at work, we had to do it. We did it twice, and both times, a couple years apart, every single one of my strengths was in like people. Not in like, I don't know what the other categories are because I don't have anything, like my top strengths were not there, like not in like organization or whatever, or like completing things. People are my strength. And so for a while, I was the only person in my department who was like that. And for a while I was like, when I first got the results, I was a little embarrassed. Like, I don't have any of the other strengths. They're all like, the top 5 of mine are all like in the people category. But like, lean into it. Lean into what your strengths are. Lean into your strengths. One of my talents is getting people to do things. Like, because I'm a people person when I want to be. So yeah, I would say lean into your strengths, figure out exactly what it is that you want, and figure out how to know that you want to get there, right? Know what your goal is, even if you don't know how you're going to get there. Sometime when I was working at the car company, I wrote on I knew I couldn't stay there that long. So I wrote on my Google Calendar that I wanted to be retired by 40. And I did it without realizing I did it. Like, it wasn't like I want to retire. Like, it wasn't like that goal was in the back of my head all the time, but it was like, I know I can't do this forever. because I wouldn't look good at prison. It's not the right look for me. That was a lot. That was very rambly, but here we are. Here we are. All right. Oh, DL resigned last week. 11 years from toxic district, 22 years total. Better on you. Yes, that's what you do. That's what you do. Oh, Gretchen asked what happened to all my plants. I'll post a picture, Gretchen. The forest is foresting. It's just over here. When I go away, I have like at least 40 plants in here. I don't know how many. I don't count them. I just love them. So when I leave, I move them all to specific places in my apartment so that they can all be watered. And it's not like they're all over the place and someone might forget one. And where the sun can get to them. So like I have my window faces west completely. So the afternoon light is very, very strong on that wall that's across from me. So I take my art off. I have art that's further down away from the light. Take the art off that wall, put the plants over there. It's a whole thing. It's a whole production. So I'm looking at like 20 plants over there in like a very foresty kind of thing. I just move some of them behind me just because I like having plants when I go live. They're all here. I don't care about citizenship. That might change. I know someone's going to be in the comments arguing about why I'm wrong about this, but I haven't said you don't need to care. I said I don't care. So no, at some point I might apply, but once I have permanent residency, I can stay here until they tell me I can't, and they're unlikely to tell me that I can't. So whatever. I don't have any travel goals for the remainder of the year. In the winter, I may end up going to Africa, but no goals. I don't typically set travel goals. I just, like I went to Fiji, and when I was in Fiji for Stephanie's birthday, and when I went to Fiji, I was like, I might as well go to these other places that are close by that I've never been to before. That's really how I travel. Not like I want to get to this one place. I went to Antarctica. My friend was doing a group trip to Antarctica. And I was like, oh, it wasn't like this is a goal, but it sounds cool. And people I know are going. I'm very casual about a lot of like the planning stuff. Okay. I think we're going to wrap it up now. Let's see. I answered that. I answered that. Oh, this question from Vera. What advice would you give about traveling for extended periods of time? Like if you're going to be away for 3 months or more, do you carry an extra suitcase for like your gifts, trinkets, or no? That's why this is the question that I had to grab with the duffel bag. I do grab a duffel bag in case I'm going to be away for a long time so that I can, if I get more stuff. I'm not afraid to buy a suitcase somewhere else if I have to. It costs what it costs. It just is what it is. I think most of my advice around traveling for a long period of time is to not put too much pressure on yourself. A long trip is not like a short vacation. You don't have to do something every day. In fact, you need to not do something every day. You're going to be tired. It's hard. It is harder to maneuver through a new city once a month, once every 3 months. It takes more out of you than being in surroundings that you're comfortable with, that you know. Like I easily know how to get to the grocery store here and what I need to buy and what's going to taste good and all that stuff. If I go to a new country, I'm looking at these different meats like, I got to translate that. I don't know what's the sodium in this salami in Italian? It's more work. Like it just is more work being away from home than it is at home. And so I would say pace yourself and allow yourself some guilt-free days of doing what your body needs you to do. So if your body's like, I need you to sleep today, go to sleep. If your body's like, I need to lay out on the beach today and do nothing else, lay out on the beach. But don't think of 3 months as like, when I travel long term, I don't have a goal for the things I want to do in that place because that does not work for me. Because then I feel like I'm on somebody's clock. Even though it's my clock, I still feel like I have to. I let go of have to and shoulds when I'm traveling. Like when I'm home, things I have to do. I have to go grocery shopping. Or I have to at least order groceries or there'll be no food in the house. I don't have to do anything when I'm traveling. I force myself to leave the house every other day. That doesn't mean I have to go bungee jumping or to a museum. I could just leave the house to go to the store across the street. But I've stood up, I've put on pants and shoes. I have left where I am and I've come back. Cool. Done. I do not pack my own sheets. I'm gonna sleep on the sheets I have. I have been to places where there were no sheets, and I've been to places where the sheets were extremely uncomfortable. But that's a call real quick, like, I'm so sorry, I feel like you put a blanket on the bed that there are no sheets and I need sheets. So what are we doing? It's dark outside. I need sheets. Bring sheets. It's never been a problem. I bring washcloths. I don't bring my own towels. And I only bring washcloths because a lot of places don't have them. Like if I believe the thing is going to be available for me, I won't bring it. I don't need my own of a lot of things, of most things. But yeah, it's when I'm like, oh, you might not have washcloths up. I always have one on my back. I am team vibes when I travel. What do I feel like doing today? Let's do that. Just vibes, nothing else. All right, friends, I'm going to pack it up. We're going to say goodnight. Oh, I tried fasting today. All you Mindy Pels girls who told me about it. Ate on the plane last night. But because I got a late start today, I was like, maybe this is a day. Like I didn't wake up until 10:30. Usually I wake up at like this past week, I'm waking up at 6. But maybe this is a day that I can make it work. I am 19 hours and 59 minutes of no eating and nothing but water. If I cuss y'all out next week, you know what happened. Y'all know what happened. But yeah, we shall see. Thank you guys for coming. I think there's one last question that was not answered that I want to answer. Real quick. My first love, I was 17, 18, nothing to tell. It's your relationship when you're 17. And how can you describe your dream man? I don't dream of men, which I think, the reason I wanted to answer this is I think this is part of the reason I've been single for so long. I don't be thinking about them. I don't. I do not dream of, I don't dream of labor. I don't have a dream job. I don't have dream men. Is that the right way to approach it? Possibly not. I'm not saying that's what you should do or it is the way to live life. I just don't dream of men. I do not think about them. When one surprises me with some hotness, I'm like, oh. And then dumbness. But we deal with what we can deal with. But yeah, I don't. I think this is one of the reasons I've been single for so long. Is that like, I think that's it. I don't have a dream man. to be on yachts eating lobster. I saw from the Ritz-Carlton. From the Ritz-Carlton yacht. I was looking for a picture of Stephanie and I the other day. So I went to, like, you know how Apple tags your people once they know their face. I was looking for a picture of Stephanie and I was looking at a picture of us at the dinner table at the Ritz-Carlton yacht. And we had, like, I don't know what we ordered, but we had like 3 lobster tails at the table. And I was like, yeah, on yachts eating lobster. And the lobster was all included, and we didn't, like, something was weird and we didn't realize we were going to get so much. But that's what I dream of. I do not dream of it. And I think some of that is because, like, the Ritz-Carlton yacht experience has never disappointed me. But men? Once or twice I've been disappointed. Anyhow, I think that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for coming out and joining this. And it's been a blast. We went longer than I definitely thought we were going to. So maybe we'll do this again the next time I ain't got it for y'all. We'll do this again. That's when I do it. Anyhow, besos. I will talk to you guys soon.